Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So a couple of things before I dive into this spread. I just took a whole bunch of collage and I did a tea bath. I'm actually doing it right now and I posted it on my Instagram stories. So if you guys are interested in, how I make my tea bath and what I put into it, etc., just pop over to my Instagram and look into my stories section, and I go into great detail about, how I prepare my tea bath. I generally have two pans. One's a really shallow pan, one's a deeper pan. And what I'm doing a little bit differently this time is I am using pieces of my own handmade collage. So I have oil pastels that are, I used on brown paper bags. I have just different pieces of paints, like this over here, for instance. This is a brown paper bag and I just made all this stuff on it, and I actually put pieces of this into the tea bath. So I'm so excited, you guys, about what's gonna happen. I don't know how the oil pastel is going to react to being soaked in tea bath. I don't know, I guess my gut feeling is that it's going to repel the water. So, but I don't know. Maybe it's going to stain some of the oil pastel. I really don't know. But this here is not oil pastel. This is oil pastel. Anyways, I'm sorry for that big long song and dance, but I'm just so excited. I also have a lot of museum maps from when we lived in Europe. So I put some of those museum maps in there, and I'm just curious as to what's going to happen. But I did find pieces of all of this handmade collage here. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I might use some of it in here. I don't know. I just don't know about that, you guys. Part of me is like, yeah, go for it, and another part is like, that's probably not going to be a good idea. But I do have little bits of collage here that I'm thinking, I don't know. See, I don't know. I really don't know, you guys. This spread is a lot of I don't knows, and while I work here, I'm just going to be talking about the I don't know space. So you guys, honestly, I'm not talking just for the sake of talking. Generally speaking, when I am working in my art journal, or when I'm painting, I have my audiobooks going on, and I'm just kind of like in the flow. So I'm not talking to be talking. I'm talking for various reasons, but sometimes I'm explaining my thought process because I just find sometimes that might be helpful to kind of see what's going on in somebody's mind when they are making these decisions. And I had somebody leave a comment for me that said that one of my videos really helped them, and it was about using the non-dominant hand. And it made me think of when I was in Oaxaca and what Connie Solera said, because I was fighting me painting the same woman over and over and over and over again. And I was like, oh my God, why does this same woman keep on showing up in my art? What is the deal? It was kind of driving me a little batty, honestly. And I said that, and I said, I know how to paint other stuff, and I love painting other stuff. I love painting all sorts of different things, but the same lady just keeps on showing up in my art, and what's the deal with that? I want to not do that. And Connie just said something so profound but simple, but it changed everything for me. And she said, love what you love. She goes, don't make any excuses for it. She goes, a lot of her ladies she paints these robed figures. And she said, a lot of her robed figures are repetitions. She paints the same robed figures over and over and over again. And she goes, just love what you love. That's it. Love what you love in art and in life. And it was it might sound so simplistic and, just oh, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. But it took her saying that for me to, to really kind of let it land inside of me. It just really resonated with me. And so sometimes it just takes somebody else saying something or doing something, and then you go, yeah, okay, I see it. You already know that thing. It's already inside of you, but it takes somebody else pointing it out or saying it or doing it, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, And it happens to all of us. So so when I talk and I'm explaining something, I am explaining my thought process, and I'm hoping that maybe it's gonna, like land inside of somebody, and they can say, oh yeah, I knew that, yeah, okay. But now just me saying it is like kind of like resonance. The second reason I explain things is because, you know, sometimes it's important to kind of like reframe things. Okay, so this space of not knowing. When I first started painting, I had this like, now this was many years ago, you guys. But I have this kind of like very unrealistic view of creativity and painting and art, and I think the reason why is because that's the way it's portrayed in movies and books and just popular culture, if you will. Like, creativity is looked upon as this like mad scientist kind of person who knows everything, like they know what everything that they're gonna do, and then they just go and they fall into a fit of madness, and then they start painting. And if you think back to like earlier, the like when you first started like seeing creativity on in movies, or however you learn about creativity, that's the way it's portrayed. It's really not true at all. And just having been in just been really fortunate to visit a lot of museums and just artists homes, studios, etc. I have come to see that the greats, like the greats like Picasso, like Cezanne, like Dali, I mean, these are the masters, okay? I've come to see that no, they had no idea what the hell they were doing. Picasso himself, he used to make huge collages, and I didn't know this until I visited his museum in Paris. He used to make these huge like collage pieces, and then he like, so they were 3D. They were not like collage pieces on canvas. They were actually like 3D collage assemblages, I guess you could say. And then he would paint off of that. And he said, he wanted to be in a space of not knowing. So I'm sorry, you guys, for this big long song and dance here, but yeah, this space of not knowing, it's a liminal space. It's that space where we're leaving what we know, and we don't really know what's coming after. So we're in that in-between space. I used to look at that as a negative. I used to look at that, like when I first started painting, because I had this very unrealistic view of creativity and artists and all this other stuff. I used to look at that as a negative, in the sense of, well, that must mean that I'm not an artist, because I don't know what, like, I don't know how it's gonna transpire, right? And and I was like, this, like I said, was many years ago when I first started painting and taking classes. And then over the years, what I've come to see is this space of not knowing is a really, really rich, beautiful, delicious space. Okay, it is it's the medial woman. And I hate to keep on going back to like archetypes and all this other stuff, but that's what I mean, you guys. Is like, it's all related. It really honestly is, for me anyways. So I love this space of not knowing. That's where our creativity can really bloom and thrive, and we can challenge ourselves, push ourselves. And that's what I'm doing with working in this way, because I'm not trying to go for a fantasy like approach, even though the page, I'm incorporating it into my art. But the page is very the art is very fantasy based, but I'm trying to depart, I'm trying to incorporate that, but still kind of stick with my 100-day portrait stuff, the way I've been kind of going. So this is a rich, delicious space of the unknown, of creativity, and new things can come from it. And if anything, all the stuff, all the lessons we can learn, that now we can take these lessons and apply that to when you art journal, and when you do this and that. And So I'm really loving now this, the hair, because it was really stressing me out. But so let me see here if I have this portrait. So see, this was part of my 100-day project that is still kind of in its, you know, but it's on blank white paper. But see how I kind of made the hair here with the tea bags, and it's kind of like this is just all blank space here. And I kind of like that blank space look. I really do. So I'm trying to kind of approach it in a similar way. And do you see what I mean about going back and forth between this and that and everything? It's like everything feeds off everything else. You know, me working on that blank white space like that, it's now helping me, you know, when I come on this page and then whatever I learn here and then I go here, like everything just helps everything else. It strengthens everything else and it challenges us in different ways. So let me get some of my Payne's gray here. And like I kind of like that, you know, like that, like I'm just gonna do the hair a little bit, and then I think what I'm gonna do is now I can incorporate some of the page without it being too distracting. Like, you know, obviously over here there are legs. Now I want to get rid of that because if, you know, I don't want it to be distracting. If it's a pattern or a color field, that's fine, but I don't want it to be like, you know, something that you can go, oh, this is a face, this is legs, this is hands. I don't want that. So I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, I'm really kind of digging this now. It's interesting. I mean, it's really busy, which I don't like the busyness of it, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just gonna work with what we have here. So I might have to cover up a little bit of the pattern here. And I'm still kind of trying to work out, like, what do I want to do? Am I going to keep this pull pattern here? I don't know. And I want to keep like as much of the blue as I can. And maybe like, okay. So, I think what I'm gonna do is maybe work a little bit on the facial features here. And okay, you guys, so when I get to this part, it seems like it's going to be a lot of push and pull here. So I'm trying to push things into the background. I'm trying to pull things forward. And and when I talked about the push and pull, I think I was doing a still life series, and I come back to the point again about why it's so important to work on so many different things at one time, because everything strengthens everything else. It's not like, you know, I mean, if we're learning, we're learning. And we can apply those lessons to no matter what. So if you're working on assemblages, collage, color, theory, whatever, it's going to, you know, it's going to help you in everything else, because art is, it's not isolated. Like everything works off everything else. Now I want some yellow here. But I'm really loving the way this is turning out, you guys. Like, I did want the, you know, I wanted the portrait to be very expressive. Like, that was my guiding kind of light, I guess. That was my North Star. I want the portrait to be expressive, whether it's me using what's on the page, this fantasy, or me using my 100-day project, all the lessons I'm learning there. I want her to be really emotive, and I think she is. I'm kind of really feeling like, hey, she's got a story to share here. And just bring some of that in there. So I'm just thinking here, what am I gonna do with this? Like, am I gonna put like a solid ground here? Am I gonna let some of this show through? I do like some of the patterns here, but I don't want it to be like, oh, that's a fish, that's a cat. I don't want that. So I'm just gonna ask myself the question and think about it. And oh, you guys, like in my last video, I said I was going to journal about what to do with the hair and such. And me journaling, it kind of led me to using the tea bags and kind of replicating what I've been learning in my 100-day project, like with leaving some of the blank space. So I said, oh, okay, like on the white paper, it's going to be blank white page, but on here, it's going to be like, you know, what's already on the page. So I'm taking that lesson and I'm just modifying it to fit into this situation. And sometimes like writing, I'm a writer, so sometimes writing just can get stuff out of you that, you know, asking yourself the question can't really do that job. So just find out what works for you. And okay, you guys, I think I'm gonna let this dry and then I'm gonna come back to it, but I'm really excited about this. I'm really loving a lot of what's going on here. So if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.